What I thought I'd show today, guys, before I switch this out, is I'm going to be putting a different Astro-Physics saddle plate on here. But just to give you any ideas that you can use their saddle plate and dovetail bars for other uses other than just putting on a telescope on your mounts. As you can see here, the tripod that I have rigged for this is a Bogan 3036, and I don't know if they're made in Italy anymore, but this one does say made in Italy. The way things are anymore, who knows where they're being made, but anyways, Italy is my home country. That is actually where I was born. I've got many tripods, but years ago when I decided to do this, I chose this 3036. It's an excellent tripod. I actually bought this, I think it was in the late 80s, when I was about mid 80s, maybe 86, 87, when I was looking for a camera system at the time, looking between Canon and Nikon. I ended up choosing the Nikon camera system, and this thing is in excellent shape because I'm very, very picky, and if I put this in my car or anything, I wrap towels around it so as not to nick and beat it up. But that's why this thing looks so good. But so let's take a look at what we've got here, and I'll show you, and then I'll show you how I'm going to change this to update it to the newer Astro-Physics dovetail and saddle plates. Now this is Astro-Physics older saddle plates that they no longer manufacture, and I'll show you the size differences between these and the newer ones. I don't know the number. I've got receipts. I didn't go back and look at them. I don't know what model number these were with this or the dovetail plates. But the reason for this is I wanted to be able to put multiple heads on a tripod without having to undo them from the actual tripod. I wanted it to be quick and simple. So as can be seen here, all you got to do, and I've got a studio ball that is attached to a dovetail bar. All you got to do is take this off like this, and now I can put something else on here. So it turned out to be really nice, and as you can see, I've attached it like that. When I want to use this, that's how simple this is. And also the older saddles had threaded holes here, and so what I did, because that's how they held the knob on, and I just put these little bolts in there. Gives you just a little extra push on it. So what I did is simply make an aluminum block attached to the tripod, and then tapped holes, 4 of them, to receive the Astro-Physics saddle plate. Alright, so let's take that off. I think those were blue Loctited on. And here you see that plate that I made to attach to the tripod. Also, I do live in the country. It is getting very windy, so I apologize for that, but not much I can do about it. So on the left is the dovetail saddle that I took off that tripod, and that is, as I said, what they don't make those anymore. They've standardized. So I want to go to the newer design that Astro-Physics came out with a few years ago, when they came out with the new 92mm stowaway, the latest version. And so I've got the Las Mandy, and then I have the Vixen that I want to standardize everything to. So that means if I've got something, I want to be able to put whatever I want on anything, and I can't do it with this. So this is the model number of the saddle that I'm putting on. It's the 7-inch V-style dovetail saddle, part number ACSD07. So for those that may not know, I'm going to show you what we have here. These two are the older Astro-Physics dovetail bars that they no longer produce. They now have standardized to the Vixen, which makes a lot of sense because a lot of your imported scopes use Vixen. And so they've kept to the Vixen and the Las Mandy are the two primary ones that they are producing now. So let's see how the narrow older design works with the Vixen. And if we take a look, we'll see that the older design was much narrower. So you could not put this on a Vixen saddle. Further, if we take a look at the wider, older design that Astro-Physics had of their dovetail bar, we see that the older narrow dovetail bar and we see the older wider bar together. Now we'll take a look at the older wider bar and compare it to the Vixen. And we'll see that the older wider bar is much wider than the Vixen bar you see here. So to make a long story short, none of the older bars that AP's no longer producing will work with a Vixen. So I've taken that plate off, and this is what the underside looks like. And what you see here are the 3 set screws that they use on the tripod head, that once you tighten this down with a 3/8/16 here, threaded hole that's here to receive into the tripod, then you would just tighten those 3 set screws down. That would eliminate this from rotating. As can be seen here, I've laid it out. One there that I'm going to drill, one over here, drill and tap for a 1/4-20 socket head cap screw, and a number 7 drill is the proper size to use when drilling. And what I did is, to get a nice exact point to start out with, I used a prick punch first. Once I had it marked, I used a prick punch, just very lightly tapped it. Then I followed that up with a standard punch. The only difference is the angle. You'll see here that the prick punch has a steep angle, more of a point, gets you a little more precise. Then I just follow that up with the punch like that. So I'm going to take this down to the basement, drill it on my drill press, and tap it. Okay guys, there you see the completed plate, 1/4-20s tapped on both sides. Then I've got to drill the saddle plate, the Astro-Physics saddle plate, 2-inch on centers. And then I've got the word knob here because the knob's going to be on this side. I want the knob on this side, so that's why I've got it, so when I bolt it down on here. So I will get that drilled out and the job will be completed. So here you see the saddle plate. I've got it laid out where I'm going to drill my 2 holes. So here you see I've taken the tape off. You guys know that anytime I show something like this, I always use tape because you can pull the tape off. You don't have any marks of pencil. I didn't on that top plate because it's going to get covered on the tripod. But so now you see the 2 center punches. I did the same thing like I did on the last one. Used a prick punch followed up by a regular center punch. I'll take this down to the drill press, drill the hole, and then counterbore it. Alright guys, this is truly embarrassing. But way back when I was a carpenter, when I used to be a carpenter, the first thing you learned was you measure twice, cut once. Measure twice, cut once. Well, today I measured once and drilled twice. So, what happened, why in my mind I had 2-inch centers, I don't know. 2-inch centers is wrong. It was 3-inch. So, I just redid it and put them on 3-inch. So, learn from me. I knew better and I did not do better. The next thing that I've got to do is take off the old dovetail plate and do whatever it takes here to replace it with the new Astro-Physics Vixen style dovetail. Alright, the next part was simple. All I did was enlarge the 1/4-inch diameter hole that was already here, made it 3/8, and then counterbored it to accept the bolt that I'm using. So there it is, guys, ready to put onto the tripod with the new saddle that I put on there. Okay, so let's see how this looks. That simple. So now, whatever I want to put on here, I've got everything standardized, and I've got other things that I've got to change over. I'm going to show you one more thing that I've already changed over here in a bit. But so you could change heads, whatever it is you want, by just simply doing something this simple. It's really not that hard. So inside this Pelican case, what I have is a Teleview 60mm. They're 60mm, and I bought this back in 2005 in anticipation of using it for the eclipse. I believe it was March, I forget the exact date, March of 2006, to see the total solar eclipse in Egypt. And I wanted something small that would fit in a camera bag. There was nothing. I even had a modified tripod which fit in a camera bag, carry-on at that time camera bag, everything that I had, eyepieces, everything. And so, but this wasn't taken with me. I just attached this to a geared, a Bogan geared head, which was, but this is what I want to show you, what I've done with the new saddle plate, the 7-inch saddle plate from Astro-Physics, that will go onto that tripod, and then of course I put the new dovetail on there. So in keeping with the theme of having everything standardized, I took this telepod. This is the small telepod from Teleview. This is where your handle screws in, and I had one of those older design AP. You can see where I drilled holes, 4 holes here, and then I put them on some nylon standoffs so it would stay up higher than this, so that way it wouldn't interfere, because it was this wide plus everything else you had, and it worked great. And so now that I'm going to standardize, here's the 7-inch Astro-Physics saddle, and as you can see, what I had to do was drill some new holes in the telepod, and I was able to use one hole that AP has already on the end, and then I had to just drill and counterbore another one, and then I just furred out, shimmed out, because it has this step in it. It's thicker, it's thinner here. Then I just furred it out with some washers to keep it parallel. And now the 60mm, I put the new Vixen dovetail on that. And so when I want to observe with this small scope, this is grab and go at the ultimate. And as you can see, you can still get to the knob. Put the 60 in there, tighten it up, put your handle on, and you're good to go observing. And when you're done, take it off of here, put it in the case, put everything away. It's just so simple. I love this setup. And I will say that Teleview is beautiful little scope. The images that I got at that eclipse were just tremendous. So, and it gives great views of anything within its aperture range. So here you see the Teleview 60 on here. You've got plenty of room to slide back and forward to balance, so that when I put an eyepiece on here, you can go below the horizon and you can make it to 90 degrees straight up past the zenith. I always use a diagonal in here, and so again, the ultimate in grab and go. And I haven't got this married to this tripod. This tripod is now more versatile because of the fact that it has multiple uses. So anyways, guys, I hope this was helpful. Something easy to do. And when I was doing this change, I thought I'll just share this with you guys to see what you think. And if that's something you want to do, you could do it.